Now, this is not how I wanted the first episode of the truck being back to go, but there's a list of issues that we need to address and fix today, so let's get into it. Now, the last time you guys saw my truck in this garage, the whole front end was destroyed. The whole fender was dented in, the headlight was shattered, the front bumper was falling off, and the core support was bashed in. But here we are about a month and a half, 2 months later, and she is back in the garage, completely redone, rebuilt with a bunch of upgrades and goodies, which we will probably go over in another episode. But like I said, since I picked it up about 24 hours ago, there are a list of issues that we need to address and fix before I go on the rest of my day, going to the truck meet at the beach, meeting up with Zach Zayden, doing a car wash, all kinds of fun stuff. So let me show you what these problems are. I want to pause this video for a moment to tell you guys about a giveaway we currently have going on right now for the month of April. Now, by the time you guys are seeing this, it might be a little bit too late, so make sure you guys follow me on Instagram so you don't miss out on future giveaways. But what we are giving away this month is an archive garage shock relocation kit like the one I have here on my truck. Now, if you guys have been following the channel for a while, you will have seen many videos of this kit going on, being reviewed, being tested and stuff, and you already know all the sweet things that it could do. But if you haven't been watching the channel for a while, let me go ahead and cover some of the key features of it. Now, if you off-road at Tacoma, you know that the geometry and the travel in the back is complete dog. So what this kit does is it goes ahead and cuts off the stock mount and it relocates the shock as high up in the wheel well as you could possibly go without going through the bed. Now, why should you care about this? Because it allows you to fit a 12 to a 14-inch shock or certain configuration bypasses in the rear of your Tacoma. And as we all know, the more travel you have, the more partying you can do. So if you guys drive a Tacoma and you are interested in winning a shock relocation kit, go ahead and head over to my Instagram and click on the pinned giveaway post to get yourself entered. Entries will close at the end of April. Thank you so much, Archive Garage. Now let's get back to the video. Now, the biggest issue lies within these new AlphaRex headlights. And it's nothing with the headlights particularly, as far as I know. It's just the way that they were installed, which I guess in simple terms, they weren't properly installed. The first issue being when I have the truck in the daytime running light mode, the daytime running lights will not turn on. The second issue is when I turn on my blinkers, the blinkers and the headlights do not turn on. The third issue is when I do turn on the headlights inside the truck, the dash and the tail lights are hyper flashing super fast. Now, the last two issues are more preference than actual issues, but I need to change the daytime running lights from white to amber, and I also need to adjust where the projectors are aiming once we have everything finalized. Now, I honestly have no clue how this ball was dropped at the shop. I think I have no idea what happened. I think they just put them in and plugged them in like normal headlights and didn't read the instructions or anything, because I think this entire harness needs to be inside the truck to fix most of those problems. So that is the biggest issue we're tackling right now. But the next issue we're going to try to tackle today is, now that we have the 2-inch wider fenders, the gas fill neck is well, it's not quite reaching. It's just about there, but not really so. So what we're gonna try to do today is go in, mess with the brackets, mess with all the clamps and stuff, and see if we can just get an inch or two more slack out of this so the fill neck comes all the way into the gas cap. The next issue I need to address, which I can't really quite get to right now because I'm parked close to the wall, but if I try to open the tailgate, you can see I have to put up a fight to get it open, and that's because the glass was not trimmed right where the tailgate closes on both sides. So this notch on the tailgate is just gouging into the glass and making it like super hard to open. So I need to get a Dremel and kind of file away at that till we get a nice close and open on the tailgate. And the last issue we need to address, which makes it kind of difficult to drive at night, I guess you could say, is that this new Dirt King bumper comes with these license plate lights right there, but as you can see right there, you see the wires hanging down for the lights. So yes, those license plate lights are not wired up, so it doesn't really make it difficult to drive at night. It's just a higher chance of me getting pulled over because I have no license plate lights. Now, unfortunately, the harness that you need for those lights I sold with my old bumper because I didn't know that I needed that harness. So now I need to go on a wild goose chase and try to find this harness somewhere and get them wired up. So like I said, this is not how I wanted the first episode of the truck being back to go, but hey, there's things we gotta fix and we gotta get it done as fast as we can because we only have a couple hours before we gotta head out and film the second video for today. So I guess we're gonna start with the biggest thing on the shopping list, which are the headlights. That should knock out a lot of the things on the list of things we need to fix, and the rest of the stuff can be done at a later time, but we're gonna start with these and see how far we can get into all these fixes. All right, I'm finding another problem. I'm trying to release the hood, which it's completely released, but it's not popping the hood and I can't quite get into it. Okay, well, there we go. Now, if you guys have been following along with this whole truck got hit, truck's getting rebuilt kind of series, you'll know that the core support got really smoked on one of the sides, so it had to go off to a body shop and try to get fixed. And I think the hood might be a little temperamental now because of that. Alrighty, I don't know if the camera's going to show the phone screen or if it's going to make it all look weird, but essentially the first half of the steps are removing the stock headlights, which we don't really have to do. So we're going to go ahead and fast forward to part 2, installing the headlights, and I'm hoping we can do what we have to do without having to pull them back off and put them back on. Hopefully I can just reach from the backside here and do everything I need to do. So I think the first step that we're going to do is going to address the daytime running light problem we're having of them not turning on at all, which I think has to do with this harness right here that never got added. So they want you to connect the positive and negative to the terminals, and then you have to run a fuse through the firewall into the fuse box underneath the steering wheel. So I mean, technically the headlights do work. They turn on at night, which is just simply plugging them in like a normal headlight. But with all the other stuff that goes on with these headlights, like the startup sequence, the daytime running lights, changing the ambers and whites and all that fun stuff, you need to do the harness, which is like a big component of it. So we're gonna go ahead and start with this. You guys know I'm always gonna be honest with you. I'm never gonna try to hide the bad sides of the build process or anything like that. Hence why I'm making this video. You know, I could just fix all these things, not tell you, and say, oh yeah, it came back perfect. But yeah, one of the things I'm gonna be honest about is I'm starting to accumulate a rat's nest of wires. But with the way the new bumper's built, I have it tabbed up for 4 lights, which will be coming later down the road. And once I get those 4 lights, I think I'm finally just gonna bite the bullet and pay the cost to send the truck off to a wiring guy and get like a nice module put in here and have wire management looking tits. But yeah, between the 3rd brake light, the pods, and now this, I have this rat's nest going on in here that I am not stoked about. Where's my black wire? The black and red wire is hooked up. Now I think I need to pass one of these fuses. I think, oh, it's down in there. Dude, what am I hooked on? I think I need to pass this gray wire, which has a fuse on it, through the firewall and get it to that fuse box inside the truck. This is my sad attempt at making it look like I have some sort of wire management, just putting the red cover back on. Now I'm hoping I'll be able to feed this through the firewall by myself without somebody on the other side grabbing it. Oh, right on the old fenders. Okay. The 2 other times I went through this, I had somebody else on the other side ready to pull it through. Hold on. I'm gonna go try to get helping hands real quick. I can grab it. Yeah, pull it. Keep pulling the rubber away though, I don't want to. Oh, sweet. All right, thank you. Yeah, it should be good. Alrighty. So now that we have this through, we can feed it up into this little fuse panel that they have right here behind the cubby, where there's more of a rat's nest. Now it's saying open the fuse box, blah, 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 and tap into the IGN ignition fuse, which they're pointing to this blue one, saying it's that one. And I'm gonna trust them. Dude, how the frick do you undo a fuse? Jesus. Dude, you need some seriously gnarly grippers to get that bad boy out. They say use needle nose, but knowing me, I'm just gonna destroy that fuse. Oh, okay, never mind. Use needle nose, super easy. Now the thing it's not telling me is, am I plugging this fuse I just pulled out back into the fuse we're tapping in? Because there's an open slot on it, but it doesn't say. I'm gonna assume that they just want you to put this back in, because why else would they give you the 2nd slot? And we're taking this blue fuses home anyways, so. Okay, now the next portion of these instructions are just physically installing the headlights and plugging everything in. Obviously most of that's done here, so all we have to do is keep messing with this harness that wasn't installed and run these little connectors, which I believe are for the daytime running lights slash startup sequence, over to each headlight. And then in the back here you'll see little connector that was never messed with, so we'll plug these in. And then I believe that the last thing to do would be to plug this in to change them from white to amber, but we'll save that for last after we turn on the truck and make sure everything's working. This is like the extent of my wiring knowledge, just plugging in stuff. I can't do any sort of splicing or anything like that, but luckily this doesn't need any of that. Okay, so we got both of these plugged in. So at this point, I think everything's plugged in the way it should be. So let's go ahead and start it up and see if we can get everything to be working the way it's supposed to be. Alrighty, so like I was saying before, you have the 4 positions. You have off, daytime running light where it turns the inside to night mode. So when it was in the daytime running light night mode, they would turn on. If it was just a normal daytime running light with, you know, daytime, they would not turn on. So let's go ahead and see if they're on now. Boom. There we go. There we go, boys, we got it. Next, let's go ahead and see if the blinkers are working. Other side. Dude, we got it. And the biggest thing is, all of that automatically fixed the hyperflash. Before it was like super fast, like obnoxiously fast. Like the taillights were definitely strobing out on people in traffic. So let's just go ahead and test all the other modes, make sure everything's working properly. And then the last thing to do is gonna be switching those whites to ambers. Now, if you still have the stock body Tacoma with the front bumper and the stock fenders and everything, make sure you do this before you put the headlights in. If you're gonna do the amber DRLs, make sure you do this before you put the headlights in, because you need to get underneath the headlight into this box right here. So if you have the full bumper that comes down and blocks it off and the fender liner that seals it off, you're not gonna be able to get to this once you put them in. You're gonna have to take the whole headlight back out and reinstall it just for this one thing. So make sure you do this before you install the headlights. All right, sweet. I found the wire inside that fuse box and we got them switched to amber. I'll show you how to do it on this side now that I have it figured out. But first, I want you guys to go in the comments and let me know. Do you like this amber look more? Or do you like the white look more? Honestly, I think the white plays in really well with the silver and the white glass, but dude, just driving around town having those ambers stare at you, dude. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. All right, so we're underneath the passenger headlight now. Once you pop this little box cover, just look for 2 skinny gray wires that are tucked up in there, and all you have to do is just plug them together and that turns it amber. Just a simple little click. And now it's amber. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this back up and we'll move on to the rest of the truck. All right, sweet. So we got everything buttoned back up. I kind of did a little bit of management, try to just zip tie everything into a clean line so it's not everywhere. I think we're done. So let's go ahead, shut the hood, and check out that gas situation, which we were looking at earlier, but we'll see if we can do a little bit more. All right, so upon further investigation, I could tell from this clip that's already out and the fact that this was finger loose, I think they've already pulled out as much slack as they possibly can, but I'm gonna yank this straight out of the gas tank, dude. I think that's maxed out, dude. Like, I'm tugging and it's giving nothing. There's no more give. So I think we might be maxed out on this. And I mean, it's not like we're terribly far out. It goes up to the hole and it can screw in from here, but it's just the free floating thing that kind of sucks, you know? The only other option really is that I've heard of people when they go like 4-inch glass and stuff, they get a 4-runner filler neck and replace it because the 4-runner filler necks are longer than the Tacomas. So that's always an option, but it just sounds like a lot of work for a little bit of payoff. Like I said, you could still do it, but it just kind of sits diagonal and weird and starts pulling at the housing, and I don't want it to like eventually start cracking something in here. So I don't know. We'll look for a more permanent solution than this, but for now, that's what we're gonna rock with. But already, I mean, we knocked out a bunch of stuff on the list. That headlight thing was like more than half the list. So we got that figured out. The gas fill neck, I think we're just at like a temporary standstill. If I want to go get a 4-runner fill neck, that'll kind of be like the permanent solution to it. But again, it's not the biggest problem. So that only leaves trimming the glass for the tailgate and getting the rear license plate lights wired up, which I have to go on a manhunt for this harness or just hardwire it and I won't be able to disconnect it. So the license plate light will probably be a separate video once I find that harness and we get to wiring guy to take care of it all. Right now I'm gonna head down to Huntington Beach, meet up with Zach Zayden, the kid of Camberg. And he's not a kid, he's like an adult now, but I call him the Camberg kid. We're gonna meet up with him. Both of us are gonna wash our rigs. He's got a sick Bronco, dude. You guys aren't gonna wanna miss the next episode. Then after that, we're heading down to Huntington Beach for a truck meet. So thank you guys so much for watching me figure out this headlight thing. I'm glad I got to introduce you to the truck, maybe not on the best terms. A full build breakdown will be coming very soon. And make sure you guys tap in for the next episode that I'm going to film right now. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink, cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can